Alright, time for the final video. So, we are looking at page 29 on the training manual, and we're looking at risk management planning. This is probably the most important part of the training manual, is making sure you know what to do in case of an emergency. So let's go through it. First important thing is, if there's an emergency, a medical emergency, we need to take someone to the hospital, somebody get treated, there's only going to be one vehicle allowed to go, and that is Kim Kelly's vehicle. She's going to be the assistant activity coordinator. She has some training in nursing, and she will be the person to take anyone to the hospital in case there's an emergency. So that means you are not allowed. We have regulations from American Camping Association and the state of Texas for what needs to be a part of the vehicle, the emergency vehicle. So we need for you to not take anyone to the hospital if there's a problem. Kim will be the one to take someone to the hospital. If there's a serious accident, we do have different people on our staff who have training. Kim Kelly is one. Arneal Brown is another who can help with any serious accident. If there's an accident on the horses, the wranglers have been trained and they will help with that. If there is an accident in a lake or in the pool, the lifeguards have been trained and they will take care of that. There's also some med techs at camp and they will help with any emergency. So just know that's important. Alright. If someone is drowning in the pool or the lake, the most important thing is to tell a lifeguard. If you are not lifeguard certified, the rule is you are not supposed to try to save the person from drowning, because studies have shown that the person trying to save the person drowning usually is the person who drowns, not the person who's drowning. So we need for you not to try to do that, but to get someone who's certified to go and save the person from drowning. So keep that in mind. If there's a fire in your cabin, there are fire extinguishers in the cabin. Try to get it out. If there's a bigger fire, like a forest fire or something big takes place, we will ring bells, we will let people know, and we're going to need for everybody to line up. The place that we will line up for at the main camp will be at the flagpole. So we need everyone to line up at the flagpole. We need all the cabins to line up. We need the counselors to make sure you have all of your campers before we do the next thing. If you're at Fossil Creek, we want you to line up at the gym, the outdoor gym. Line up, count your campers, make sure you have everyone before we decide to do what we're going to do at that moment, whether it's evacuation or something bigger than that. We need to make sure everyone is safe before we go. If there's a tornado and you're at the main camp, the safest building is the chapel. Get to the chapel and get as low as you can on the chapel floor and do what you need to do for a tornado. If you're at Fossil Creek, the building is the main building where the cafeteria is the place you're supposed to go for a tornado. Lay down as low as you can and cover your head. That will be in case of a tornado. If a hurricane heads that direction, we'll have time to figure that out and evacuate if we need to. If you have a camper who's lost, let's say you're in your cabin at night and one of your campers is missing, instead of the counselors going and looking for the camper, we would rather you notify one of the main staff people, your division leader or me or whoever, and we will get a group together and we will go look for that camper. We would rather the counselors stay in their cabin and take care of the other campers, because the other campers get all scared and your job is to take care of the campers that are there. We'll go look for the lost camper. If you see someone on the campground that you're not really sure they should be there, they look a little fishy to you, Sometimes Frontier does have guests, so we have to kind of check and make sure that person's a guest. But we can kind of tell who should be on the camp and who shouldn't be at the camp. If you have any questions, you want to talk to the Frontier Camp staff about that. So there's an office at the main camp you can go to and ask them. Or at the Fossil Creek Camp, look for any type of Frontier Camp staff and ask them and tell them about that person. And so we can check into it, make sure that person's not an invited guest of Frontier, but someone who should not be on camp property. Make sure you don't bring any guns to camp. They're not allowed. No ammunition. Don't bring any weapons to camp at all. Each cabin will have a first aid kit. We're going to need for you as counselors to be the first line of first aid. We need for you to try to treat campers as much as you possibly can with the knowledge that you have and the first aid kit that you have. We're not supposed to take our campers to the MedTech location at any little thing that they have. We're supposed to try to take care of as much as possible. Only if it's a bigger deal, not one where we take them to the hospital, but where they feel very, very sick or there's a problem beyond what we can help with the first aid kit, then take them to the nurse. But otherwise, our job as counselors, our job as Midsouth staff are supposed to try to take care of as much as we can of any physical first aid problems as possible. All right. You go to page 35, it talks about discipline. Those are just some ideas on how to deal. Discipline is one of the biggest problems for counselors always with their campers. So obviously you first have to set all the rules. It's not fair to punish campers if they don't know the rules. Set all the rules first and give them a lot of positive reinforcement about how well they're following the rules. And that really goes a long ways. You want them you want your campers to want to please you and respect you. Then you want to give a warning. If they're not following the rules, you want to give them a warning about it. And then after that, you want to give punishment. Now remember, no physical punishments, but you can restrict them from a fun activity. You can get them to help the Frontier staff with cleaning up. Those are the types of things, punishments, that are usually the best to work with. If you really need help with this camper and they're not obeying, talk to your division leader and get your division leader involved to talk to them. And your division leader hopefully will support you and reinforce all the rules and possibly give punishments to the camper. And then if that doesn't work and this camper just is not following the rules, then you get me involved, and then I will talk to the camper and I will call their parents and I will let the parents know that we've been having problems at camp with their child, and that if it happens again, they'll have to come pick them up. And that's the last thing that we have to do. Is if even that doesn't work, then we just call the parents and say, you need to come pick up your child. We pack up all their things, have them sit by the Frontier Camp office and wait for their parents to pick them up. So those are just kind of the lines of discipline that we need to work through. You will be evaluated as a counselor. And so just remember that. And we will be evaluating the silts. And again, just to re-emphasize, if you have any problems with sexual harassment, please report that to me or to your division leader. Please, if you learn that there has been sexual or physical or emotional abuse of a camper at home or someone that they know, we need to report that, and so let your division leader know about that. If there is anything inappropriate that you do to any camper, then we will have to report that to the authorities and have you removed from camp immediately. You always need to make sure there's two adults watching. So when you talk to a camper, don't ever be alone with a camper. Make sure you're able to be seen by other adults so that you yourself don't get any false accusations against you. And we will follow up on all allegations. So, thanks for watching all of these videos. Thank you for preparing yourself for camp. We want to make sure you're as prepared as possible, that we have an amazing year this year if rocks could talk. Bye.